Maradjon ez. Se az a lényeg. Yes.
It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared and sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead I became part of their story.
Popika, kezdődik is a mulatság. De jó nők vagyunk. Azt a betyárját.
What a dismal way to
Nagyon
wake
szép a játék
in the
amúgy.
belly of the beast. Let's see if I can grope my way out.
Rajtunk van egy ilyen kis... Nevezzük bilincsnek. Oké, understood. Ilyen szerkezetek vannak itt. Kínozták, vagy mi volt itt? Basic camera control. Visszafeküdhetek?
Still, not the worst bed I've ever slept in. Bones are so boring. Without flesh, there's no memories to be had.
És akkor itt is kapásban itt vannak a... Vagy egy képesség mindenképp itt van. Source point, source muted, can't cast. Break the shackles. A neve ugye ennek a képességnek. Mi a lopakodás? Na itt az inventory. Strength, finesse, intelligence, constitution, memory, wits. Combat abilities. Kapásból van egy poison flaskánk. Egy ilyen tű. Resurrection scroll, minor healing potion. Lore master. A Lore Master abba segít minket, hogy tárgyakat ismerjünk fel. Aha. Jó, és még mik vannak? Ó, a C a sneaking. És a játék így oldja meg a sneakinget, hogy... Így álcázom magam. Egyébként le a kalappal így a játékfejlesztők előtt, tehát ebből született aztán a Baldur's Gate új része. Tehát hát nem akármilyen. Ez mi? Azt keresem, azt a billentyűt, ahol esetleg látszik, hogy milyen
What a well of knowledge this tome is.
interaktálható tárgyak vannak.
No known associates. In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time.
Books. Kapcsoltam a tutoriált amúgy, de egyelőre nem akarom. Azt, és mennyire rá lehet közelíteni, de komoly. Rendesen látszik, hogy mi van a... Úristen, mi van a izéből.
Did the murderer take him into this room?
Empty potion box, azt is eltesz.
lending it to me.
Basszus, ez nagyon komoly ez a játék amúgy. Elképesztően részletes.
Rubbish.
És mondja is, hogy rubbish.
Did the murderer take him into this room? Or was he already here?
És egyébként, amennyire tudom, nagyon frankón interaktálható a környezetünk, tehát itt erősen élnek olyan dolgok, hogy az olaj meggyullad, tüzet eloldott vízzel és társai. Úgyhogy kíváncsian várom. Szóval mi egy ilyen börtönhajón vagyunk, rabok.
No marks.
Ott
No
van egy
indications of a struggle.
doboz, ami interaktálható, nincs benne semmi doboz hordó. Hát akkor beszélgessünk. Stow your weapons. Ja, a tabbal szerintem ilyen harci állapotba vagy pozícióba tette magát az ember.
Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in charge of the logs. You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters.
You put all the thing around your neck, lady man.
Why? Because we're at sea, of course, and have been for several days.
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good girl, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. For good. Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those source spells of
Nem bírom
yours?
levenni.
See what happens.
Próbálgattam levenni ezt a kis nyakörvet, de nem sikerült.
Did the murderer take him into this room? Or was he already here?
Currents of magic surge inside you, boiling, bursting, then breaking, only to fade back into your soul like rain into the earth.
My, look at the concentration on your face. There you have it, see? The collar's function. It neuters you, of sorts. Makes you unable for your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole...
Igen, van journal, mint a legtöbb kalandjátékban.
Oh, everything's spick and span. Nothing left to do, really.
Itt valami történt, gyerekek.
There's There's been a murder here.
A young magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon as you pass.
Into this room. Or was he already?
Behind the magister, a bloodied mass lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out a face amid the mess.
There's been a murder. A sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Lucky you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest
Gyilkosság
of
az
them.
Orient Express.
Waters is
Című
investigating.
fejezet
She'll
következik.
figure out who did it.
Lehet vele
Always
trédelni?
does. Aren't you enterprising? I'll let Waters tell you no herself. Go ahead. She...
Oh, everything's spick and span. Nothing left to do, really.
Dried or frozen. Itt valami varázslat
The
történt
ugly
valószínűleg.
sight, isn't it? Burns me up this happened under our protection. We're extremely lucky no Voidwoken followed the source that did this. Finn didn't see it like that. He was desperate for us to help him. Two things scared the living daylights out of him. His own shadow and his own source. We'll find out who did this. Speaking of,
She looks up at you with a mirthless smile.
I was on duty in your room when the murder happened. You were asleep the whole time. Didn't even stir. You're one of the only indisputably innocent people on the ship. Unless you can commit murder in your sleep, of course.
Biztos benne, hogy nem én tettem, mert aludtam, benézett hozzám és látta, hogy aludtam. Gondolom most itt ki kell deríteni, hogy ki a gyilkos.
Finn was killed by Source. If a Magister could do that, there wouldn't be a Magister. It looks more like a passenger managed to slip their collar. And the rest, well, you see the evidence in front of you. Listen, I could use someone to keep their ears open among the passengers. Sometimes they clam up in front of a uniform. Bring me a good lead, and I'll throw in a shiny gold coin for you. How about that?
Ja, azt kéri, hogy nyitott fülekkel járjak az utasok között, és akkor némi pénzjutalomban bízhatok.
Thanks. I just want to catch whoever did this before they...
Abban a pillanatban besúgó leszek. Első adandó alkalommal. Mentsünk egyet. Aha, visszatöltöm, mert már is csökkent a megítélésem. Gondoltam, hogy a piros az tilos, de hát azért rápróbáltam. Kötél. Hát, ha kell még valamire.
Sing us a song. I know you can.
I forgot how to sing. I did.
Gyerekek is vannak? Foglyok között? Ez roppant érdekes. Itt is van egy kis kötél. Bedroll. You pick the bedroll, use it to rest and heal your party. Aha, nagyon érdekes. Itt egy hordó. semmi. Doboz. Benne egy kis pénz. Még senki nem nyúlt vele. Hát én vagyok az első, aki ezt megteszem. Beszélek itt a tanítónővel. Ki az Isten?
Wife.
Wife?
Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not at all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this Losa woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical.
Play along the take her arm with the print. Tell the children they must be mistaken.
How very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be confused with anyone. What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we?
Say that is true enough. Shake her hand.
You presume right. Nope, trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We
Oh
play
my
ball
God.
every day after lunch. You're too soft. You take
Hát
care,
akkor az
though.
elit gangeddel
Suddenly, her
maradja.
eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over.
Good luck, Chief.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than just and I don't intend to do away with
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hand you right over the side of this ship with it.
Your Majesty. Maybe
Arról
that has
beszél.
the Magister's more concern than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That way. I always knew you'd turn out rotten.
Mindenkinek elpakolom az ágyneműjét.
Mankind always hung closest to our divine, like wolves around a camp.
Did you see the body? They ought to let you taste a bit. Maybe you'd find out who done it.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hand you right over the
A
side of
broad
this ship.
dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eye.
Listen up, kiddo. You hear that?
You'd end up a prison guard, Vic.
That right.
He opens both eyes and turns his head toward you, looking you up and down. He smiles and closes his eyes once more.
You look like a kiddo to me. Listen if you're interested, or get gone if you aren't. The ship, of course.
As soon as the Inquisitor gets here, we'll hand you right over the side
His
of the
eyes
ship.
snap open. He looks at you and frowns.
Murder? Ah, that's what they were going on and on about. I wouldn't know anything about it. I kill a man. He knows who done it. His daddy knows who done it. And the mayor knows who done it too.
His eyes flutter shut, and he assumes his position of repose once more.
Whether they catch me is another matter, but I ain't one to hide my accomplishments.
Never thought you'd end up a prison guard.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from...
And? Sick as a leper's cat. From the state of it, I'd say she's being cared for by a bunch of beardless babes who never loved anyone but their own mums. But there's more. Listen close. There now, just like that. Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
There, you heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, kiddo. Good news. No, you beautiful idiot. That wasn't any rat. It was the wheel. Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Pardon my beard. That means if we've been traveling for... Yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all.
Yeah, no indeed, Gyro. But that ain't my final destination.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes roll over to you.
That'll be all, thank ye kindly, Gyro.
That has the Magister's more concern than your appetite.
He continues stroking his beard, a beatific smile on his lips, and doesn't acknowledge you anymore.
Oké. Mindenkivel beszélgetünk, ahogy azt kérték. Tűnk különböző ilyen főzőcskézős kis tálak vannak.
Well, well. What have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you'll do.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
There's some discoloration, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find prime merchandise on a squalid little ship like this. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook?
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut
Ah, music to my beleaguered stomach.
Me mad.
Mad?
On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
Here anyway.
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Come on, please, Losa.
Yes, well, I'll count that as a no, shall I? On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after. The very basics, then. I suppose. So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. As per your own testimony, you can cook and groom, but you have the fashion sense of a monkey. It's still. Beggars can't be choosers. So without further ado, I offer you my sincerest congratulations. As of now, you are my slave.
You got this one.
You should probably come to terms with the fact that you've half a mind, full stop. Rein in your impertinence, will you? I'm a fair man, but I won't spare the rod. Anyway, you may leave me for a moment. We'll go over your duties once we reach Fort Joy.